hopefully we'll be all on Mars by then. Um, let's help Elon Musk with that. But I guess it's a very short time span for any great things to change. But with PSD2 and the whole change in global politics towards Asian countries, we will see more things, I guess. Concerning biometrics and how we verify and confirm payments. So now it's like the fingerprint and it's like accepted everywhere. That's what Apple Pay does with us, the Samsung Pay and every mobile pay. But just in any case, biometrics, we certainly believe that this is the next thing to make payments easier and faster and just basically recognize to confirm your identity, and somebody has to know what's behind your identity and which way you prefer to pay, because we don't care as consumers how we choose with what we pay. We don't really care. We have money stored in this account or that account. It's just that the choice is kind of artificial right now, and the instruments behind the merchants and all the way to a bank, they're also kind of artificial. But biometrics is very is moving for many years now. Hopefully, it will be a burst somewhere on the way. But also, there is another aspect of what is going to change, as we believe, is the concentration on very few apps or very few resources that people use. We don't throw ourselves anymore in tons of apps, applications, or websites. We basically consume information from social networks. We use messengers to communicate with one another. There might be 5 of them, but it's a very limited number of destinations where we communicate, where we buy things, where we talk, where we consume entertainment. And those destinations, those platforms, those distribution channels, they are the kings. And it's apparent that now they're ruling the world and are going to become stronger. So those destinations where we spend our time, and time is the currency at the moment, where we spend time, they might accept the payment and financial functionality also, because we would trust Google, we would trust Facebook, we would trust all those companies that we spend time with. So this is another thing that is going to happen, I guess. So biometrics and the involvement of those huge platforms that are. It's easier than it looks. Don't be afraid, it's not a rocket science. The robots come first, I guess. Like for most people, it's right from our childhood and the movies that we're seeing and where we first heard those words. But right now, I guess artificial intelligence is already part of our life, even more than we realize it. Working in an IT company, I understand how much machine learning and AI principles and just some of the tools and logics are already being integrated into search engines and their technologies, into a management of big data and many different services. The voice recognition, the face recognition, everything behind it has some elements of AI, and I guess it's already there in our lives, and it's just going to grow and evolve. So again, let's see what it brings us. I know that there are some extremist notion of how we need to control or possibly stop artificial intelligence because it might get just a little bit too intelligent than humans. But I guess that's more of a fiction worries or something, but the logic of intelligence implied instead of manual work, this is also part of innovation. It's both a challenge and opportunity. We're actually very interested in what is going to happen, just like I guess everyone else. We welcome the change that PSD2 is making and absolutely support this inclination towards openness and the ability to use information in a secure way, but to go away from like this old infrastructure that made sense maybe 100 years ago, but not so much today. So I guess we will see that a lot of movement and appearance of new fintech companies who will try to get this opportunity and seize more people with their service. But mostly, I guess, and that's just like my personal thing, that it's those companies and platforms and apps that are not in any way concerned with payments who are going to benefit from this opportunity. The ones that I just talked about. We can see that this is not something unusual. It happened in the countries that had no strong banking system before. So in those countries who skipped the whole banking dominance and went straight to mobile apps and smartphones and like China, for example, or Mongolia or some African countries, they relied either on telecom operators or just right from the beginning on fintech companies. And it's fine. It's okay. It doesn't really, it doesn't matter who does store your information and manages it. So and it's not just like our opinion as a fintech company in Russia. It's also the opinion in Russia as a general, because our central bank is also interested in what PSD2 is doing, in what is going to happen when we have our own working groups in the government to see if this is also an option for Russia to do, if this is something that our country would also benefit. But of course, we will have to see the results first of what is going to happen in Europe. So yeah, we welcome, we want to maybe take this opportunity ourselves and see maybe we can also suggest something as a service and reuse maybe some of the services that we make. We own our own e-wallet system. We have this like alternative system where people store the funds. We manage those funds. We give people opportunities to pay not through this financial instrument. So maybe even our experience, and we're the leading e-wallet in the country, maybe our experience. I haven't seen much real use cases today, even though the talks are very active for many years now. People are just still trying to find the best way to use it. But I guess it's all about management of rights and trust. So it's about trust in how we cannot trust as a legal person to another legal person, or as a physical person to another physical person, doesn't matter. How we need mediators between us, how we need third parties, many third parties between us just to make a transaction, for example. So as long as this technology presents any case where the trust is like direct and I can make a transaction directly and it will be complied, it will have compliance with some kind of existing legal structure, at least in one country, then probably it could be something that we should focus on. So really, I would love to tell you a case. We're working around with ideas for a long time now. We have consortium, we have working groups again, like associations in Russia who are playing, even the one done by the Central Bank of Russia themselves. They created the group to work on blockchain and understand how to use it in financial institutions. So far, we're just looking and learning and trying. I do have such quotes. I'm just not sure if it's going to be adequate. um, I prefer and ask everyone who works with me to double check every kind of information you get. So no matter what somebody tells you, ask once again some other person about the same matter, and you'll get two different opinions. So ask more. Don't just rely on one opinion, even though the person might be confident and he knows his part. But there are always different opinions on the single matter, even within one team. So just to make any kind of decision or to understand that, to believe that you got like the most, the best of the pictures together, like the puzzle. Ask more. Don't trust. Don't rely just on one opinion. I guess we could mention and separate from payments another use case in other industry. It's even a different industry of money transfers. When you need to transfer a bulk of money, it's not a payment for something specifically, but it's well, of course, it has a goal, but still, it's some amount of money that you need to send to your friend or to your family or something like that. So this is also the area that has not been so innovative for a long time. It relied mostly on creating international networks and trying to maintain them through like Western Union or the companies the like of that. It's very not easy, as you might guess, because you need to comply with each and different country. You need to set up sometimes and most times physical branches, because if it's a solid amount of money, it has to get withdrawn. So you need the infrastructure to put money in, to get money out, to have like this third party managing this transfer. But I think that the transaction of a transfer of money itself could be done easier, and we have seen examples through messaging apps. So the messaging apps, they're transmitting your messages, the communication, your words, and they can transmit your money. We ourselves already done something about that. We have made a money transfer, peer-to-peer transfer within iMessages, Apple's iMessages. So basically, when you send an iMessage, you can attach money to it. Before, we've done this with emails. When you're sending emails, you can attach money to your email. When you're creating a group, like a group message, you can make fundraising. You can ask like, hey, there is like our friend's birthday. Let's collect money and raise like everybody chip in 100 something. And I guess this experience is much easier, is more transparent, more user-friendly. You don't have to go out to some kind of separate financial instrument or your bank or wherever to send money to another person. You could just do it within your communication channel. And that's, I think, the next thing that most of the messengers are going to go to. Even Facebook Messenger just recently published that they have enabled peer-to-peer transfers, right? I wish I was surrounded all the time, but I guess the only way to know is it's the only way to know is the results. If you're achieving results you want, or if the results are exceeding your expectations, if you actually achieve what you want, that's the only way, the only metric that you can get. Oh, it's easy. I don't have to do anything. If I don't have to do anything myself, then that's the best team. We have seen, we're basing our experience and point of view on the closest country, Russia. And we have seen here one dominant bank with branches who owns basically most of the population, and most of the population stores money there. It's Sberbank, our shareholder. They have physical branches, but with with the young generation growing up and people getting almost everyone has smartphones now. We can see how people are moving to mobile banking more. They do not have need to go to a physical branch anymore that much. You don't go there. You can take a loan, you can pay off your loan, you can pay for your bills, you can transfer money between your accounts, you can get any kind of account through an app. You don't really have the need to go to a physical branch any that often. The physical branches there, they exist for some kind of like paranoid cases where I definitely need like a paper saying that I paid off everything, or for people in maybe smaller regions where they don't really know how to use apps and they're not there yet. But I think that in 20 years, probably the generations that grew up with smartphones, with mobile banking experience or fintech experience, they would not understand why they would need to go to a branch. So about 5 years ago, we have seen several banks appeared only in Russia that never had any physical branches. They're completely online banks. And those banks right now are one of the major banks in Russia. So they're the largest acquirers. They're one of the largest credit loaners. They have a great emission of cards. They issue a large number of cards. They have no physical branches. They're completely online. And this also gives them agility and ability to move faster, to spend their resources and money, basically not to maintain any physical branches, rents, or people, but to spend on technologies, on automation, and how to support your customers through live chat within an app rather than just like a talking person, live person. So I guess that the physical branches will definitely not play a major part any longer in some time period. In different countries, in different way, depending on how conservative the public is, on how fast the adoption of smartphones and mobile banking goes, or other fintech instruments, even on how internet providers are charging people to use internet. So those are all restrictions that are going to go. So in Latin America, while there are so many charges for internet, still it's not that easy to spend more time on your smartphone or to do anything there, because you're paying for internet, and even for your home internet you pay more than in other countries. But those are small differences and limits. At some point they must go away. So yes, physical branches, I guess, doesn't make more sense.